Hey everybody, Mike Toy here with Bonsai Boise. This is a lemon cypress, my second lemon cypress. I got this on clearance. It was priced at $5 at a big box store and then 50% off of that. So I got it for $2.50. And it had some interesting structure, which is what made me choose this one. I've done a lemon cypress in the past. I'll put a link to that video here. Unfortunately, that one died when I moved because I was a genius and moved in the middle of winter. Suffered a couple of casualties, and that was one. So I always wanted to do another one and decided to do this one. It's late August 2023. Here's the pot I'm going with. That is subject to change if I can think of a better one. But I'm a little short on pots right now, so I think that's going to have to do. So, a couple things that I can tell you I've learned from lemon cypress, from the last experience at least, is that they don't show signs of bad health. I remember I don't even know exactly at what point it died. I just felt it at one point, and I could feel that it was all stiff and crunchy, but it looked almost the same. So, if you ever try one, pay close attention to that. Just kind of feel it. The foliage on it is a little bit softer and bendy. If it's alive, you'll know. If it's dead, it's very different. So as I chop my way into this, what I'm hoping for, thinking long term here, is to do this one with some pads. So what I was beginning to say a minute ago was that on the first tree and on most lemon cypress, they have this sort of Christmas tree look. They're just like formal, upright, and kind of shaped like a Christmas tree, which is fine. That looks cool. They have really bright, yellowy, I don't know if that's yellow-green or exactly what color it is. I'd call it yellow-green. Bright foliage, which is kind of fun in the middle of winter. But, that's what they usually look like. So I wanted to do one kind of different. And so that's the idea here with this, is that I'm going to do it with pads. We've got enough branches going in different directions here that I think we can afford to do that. It's hard to do pads when they're all close together, like up at the top. So as I'm sort of nibbling my way in there to get a better look at the interior structure, I'm looking for opportunities, looking to see which one can I make the leader, because I kind of want the overall shape to see how it curves like that, starting at the bottom, curves to the right, and then over to the left toward the top. I want to keep working with that. I may have to do some wiring. There's a look at it. Then I realize all these trunks are coming from the same spot, which is a big problem. Didn't know that at first, so I made a couple of cuts. I'm going to follow that front branch as the leader, the front being the one all the way on the right, I guess. But we still have 3 branches coming from the same spot, so we got to get drastic. So close your eyes if you're squeamish. Any minute now. There we go. Timber. I know that was a big cut. I was really on the fence about that. I could have kept that. I could have used any of them as the leader, really. But I was looking at the placement of a couple other branches down lower, and I guess I just thought that one had the best chance. So going to stay with that curvature, and one going off to the other direction, then one a little bit lower. Hopefully this is going to make some sense. This is going to be a long-term project, I think. They're not very fast growers from what I understand, though I didn't even have the other one very long before it died. A few months maybe. But I'm not moving in the middle of winter this time, so I should be able to take care of this one. So I just sort of kept nibbling away, trying to be mindful of where I'm going to want some branches to go out. Even if I have to take it all the way down to one tiny little nub of a branch, that's okay. I mean, ideally, it's nice to have it, as an instant bonsai looking good right away, but that's not always realistic. As long as I have branches in the places that I want branches, that's what counts. And then once I've got that sort of established, I'm just getting rid of some of the surrounding growth and definitely looking for the middle branch, because it kind of grows straight and then 2 branches out each side and then straight 2 branches out each side. I'm going to take the middle one off, which will cause it to split into 2 branches or ramify, which gives it better movement. That way it's not a long stick. It's, a branch with a couple of smaller branches and then 4 smaller branches and 8. Looks better. Or it will, that is. So you can kind of see here, I've got the structure in the place I want it to be. Does it look awkward and naked? Yes, it does. But this is a long-term project. Point is, I've got the structure the way I want it. So now, whether it takes a year or 10 years, we can grow it the way that we want. And I'm going to try to take some cuttings. I did take a cutting from the last one that I did last year, and that cutting is still live. I'll show you here in a second. So I know that they will root from cuttings. I can't remember if I did this the last time or not, but I've had the most luck with cuttings of any species putting it in water. So I'm going to put it right here next to my window, and here's the cutting. That cutting's been going for almost a year now. Still flexible. It's got a little bit of new growth at the top now, so that tells me it's not, being deceptive. Sometimes cuttings can just sort of stay alive and not root. They typically don't put on any new growth like that unless they have rooted, though I don't see any roots coming out. I'm going to not disturb it. Now, this one is a funny story, though. This is a Japanese maple cutting that I took 2 years ago, if not longer, perhaps longer. I can't even remember now, 2 or 3 years ago. And it's just been in this jar ever since. You can see it's got roots. It grows leaves every summer, and then they fall off in the fall. It stays inside the whole time. I don't know what I'm waiting on exactly. Just kind of keeping it going, I guess, to see how long I can do it. I had no idea you could do that. This is a eucalyptus tree. It's kind of growing straight and weird. And that's an avocado, straight from an avocado seed from an avocado that I cut up for tacos. That's about 2 years old. It hasn't really put on much growth over the past year, but avocado trees are a little finicky like that. I did one once before. It ended up dying, but they don't like being messed with. I did repot that last one. You could probably see in some bonsai soil, and it's starting to look like it's going to put on some growth. So more on that later. For now, I'm getting the new pot ready. Put some netting down, put some soil in there. That's my typical mix of perlite, pine bark, and safety absorb. And I did get some small volcanic rock that I mixed in there as well. When you get these from a store, anytime, anywhere, you never really know what to expect. But typically they're pretty compact. They've been in there for years, root bound. Not this one. This one was, pardon me, this one was really loose, came apart really easy. It still had roots, which is good, but it was not root bound and it was not tight and compact, so easier to work with. I trimmed the roots, you'll see in a minute, just a little. And I know it's a little bit heresy for me to say this, but I usually do not do a ton of root work right off the bat. I like to let them get established, get healthy, grow way out, maybe even a couple of seasons before I start to do root work. Because I find that's the riskiest part. And when you first get a tree, you don't know its habits yet, that's the riskiest time. I've had the least amount of luck doing it that way. So, long story short, I usually wait to do a ton of root work until later on in its life. This one I kept the root ball pretty much intact. I cut away some of the excess roots, but otherwise kept the root ball intact. Bury in some bonsai soil. I gotta say, I wish I could have found a smaller pot. The big pot makes it look a little bit scrawny and stickly. But yeah, it is what it is. We're all gonna start somewhere. So give it a good rinse. When I rinse, when I repot a tree and I give it a rinse, I mean I thoroughly rinse it. I do that to get all the little dust particles out as best as I can, and I also do it because I think it kind of helps the soil settle in and fill in any gaps. So I mean I really rinse it good, and I give it a little stomp there, pick it up and kind of knock it on the ground. Helps settle it in more and helps knock all the dust out. I did not wire it into the pot. I usually don't. I occasionally do. Probably should now that I'm in a little windier of a location, but decorative rocks kind of do the job too. Not as well, but they kind of do. I know this one's going to be in a little protected spot because you want to put it in the shade after you repot them, so it won't be exposed to a ton of wind anyways. I'll just put a few rocks around it, give some character, help weigh it down. So there's the lemon cypress. I don't see a ton of these used as bonsai. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough. I'm sure there's some out there, but I haven't really come across too many. If you've got experience with them as bonsai, would love to hear about it, see about it. I do like the structure. I don't like how long and skinny it is, but I love the structure. So I'm going to learn more and more about it. I'll give you guys some updates as it goes. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. You can watch updates on this. You see the last one I did and plenty of other trees too. Thank you for watching today. Have a good rest of your night.